Hello, everyone. Welcome to another series of IEF Samvaad, our dialogue series where we bring in good leaders across India, various domains to discuss about the various aspects of work which is ever changing. I'm Shelja, account director at Team Lease for enterprise sales and account management, and I'm today's host and moderator for this particular session where we are going to discuss about quick commerce, young founders, and also future of jobs in India. Uh, all those who have tuned in for the first time, just want to inform you that IEF India Employed Forum is a non-profit community which basically focuses on discussing, understanding, and documenting about employment, employability, and ease of doing business. And Team Lease is the knowledge partner in providing the expertise, the insights, and the research just to ensure all the initiatives and the events, webinars are very successful. We used to take 10 minutes to think about what we have to order. And today we get everything in 10 minutes, right from groceries to gadgets. And we observe that the quick commerce has actually changed the meaning of urgency. And today, the entire India has been able to adapt to this new thing much faster, be it metro, be it tier one, tier two city. And this quick adaptation has actually made few companies to think differently, particularly FMCG companies are able to quickly fit in this entire quick commerce model into their distribution strategy and depend as one of the channel for their profitability also. So apart from this, the effect of quick commerce is that it has been able to create a lot of jobs, millions of jobs. And as per Niti Aayog, we see that in 2021, 77 lakhs of gig workers were there. And it is estimated that by 2030, it will touch 2.38 crore, which is mammoth, right? So once we see this kind of a pool of resources increasing almost daily basis, it's important the government basically takes some strong steps on the policy making. And adding to that, last week we saw how central government has announced, the labor code changes in which gig workers or the platform workers can now be part of the overall social security framework, which is an interesting thing. Now, why quick commerce is basically a very important narrative or a compelling story. It's because one, the founders are able to build this much faster with a lot of creativity and also focusing on the customer. So that's one. The second is able to create a lot of jobs basically. And it's also important that how India will nurture certain entrepreneurs from here on who would really reshape our economy. So that's where we are coming in, and why that's important, that why we are discussing this with today's topic about quick commerce, the founders, and also about their impact on the jobs. Well, very happy to have you on this particular session, and I'm really looking forward to hear more about your journey. Take us through your journey before we get into the questions.
Oh, wonderful. I'll start from the beginning. So, I'm born and brought up in Mumbai. I'm a complete Mumbai boy, that so to speak. But I did my schooling also in Mumbai, graduation from Pune. I'm an SIBM Pune pass out. Started my career with Mother Dairy. I have spent a good amount of time there, good 7 years there, and worked in initially in sales. That was like on ground sales, like general trade, how right? You know how it works. It's a lot of slogging. Then they moved me to marketing, branding. I was the one who was also helping them for new product development charter, right? For Mother Dairy for ice creams. Then I moved
Yeah.
to Bangalore. I was heading the south zone for Dhara Edible Oil as a business head. So on and all, I've been around India, all across India, while I was in Mother Dairy. Then I moved to Big Basket. I was the one who I was one of the first hires in Big Basket for the BB Daily vertical, right? The one where
Hmm.
you get to subscribe milk, right? So I was the initial hires as a business head for Mumbai. I've built the team from ground up, scaled it to good number of orders per day. And then I moved to a very early age startup called as Crow Farm in the similar space only. They also had a business which was in subscription, but primarily in fruits and vegetables. It was a small stint of around 2.5 or 3 years. That's when I moved to Blinkit as a CTCO. So they had a require. So they wanted someone who can lead a region, a bigger region like Punjab. Punjab, Himachal, Jammu. That was their vision of growing and expanding Blinkit. They thought that I would be the best fit for that. I was appointed as a CEO for this region, and it's been a year now since we have started the business or scaling up the business in Punjab. So this is what I am right now, a CEO. And now very recently, while I am traveling a lot, you get a lot of time to yourself, right? And within this time, you try to spend it in a good way as much as possible. I started writing. So I started
Nice.
writing. Yeah. So it started off from a small write-up to a chapter to now a full-blown book, right? So it's already 340 pages and I'm about to publish it. It's the name
Wonderful.
of the book is The Closing, and I should be publishing it very soon, like within a week or so. So that's my
Wow.
another phase of my career now, and I've really loved writing, so I think I'll continue doing that again. So yeah, so that's my journey.
Adding on to that, when you write something, it's very fulfilling because
It
the
is.
thoughts actually flow so well, and you have so
Yes,
much to say about your experience and share with the world. And I think that's
correct.
the best way is writing, because I
Yes,
also
yes.
write, and in a small way,
Wonderful.
short notes I write, but I love writing, so I can
Yes.
completely correlate with what you are saying. And
Yeah.
well, I mean, happy to know you this way, and it's wonderful to know your journey, which is full blown and which is basically really good. uh, Coming to the important questions that we
Sure.
wanted to discuss in today's session, Swapnil, the first thing is, just picking up from one of your LinkedIn posts where you have mentioned that, as you meet many young founders, you are very inspired. Okay, so we just wanted to understand those 2 to 3 things which you see a change in the young entrepreneurs of today in comparison to the old entrepreneurs, and
All
how
right.
do you feel that these people have that ability to shape up the future?
Oh, okay. So the young entrepreneurs, so I have been visiting and taking sessions all across India to meet new entrepreneurs to understand what they do. So whenever I interact with young founders, I would say, right, I feel genuinely inspired, right? They are shaping the future of Indian entrepreneurship in ways that are very different from what the millennials used to do, right? Like I would call it my generation compared to that. So it's very different, right? First, they are not chasing traditional jobs, right? Or the
Yes.
job titles are following societal script, right? They are not doing that. They want to work on what excites them, what aligns with their passion, and that makes them visionaries in some sorts, right? Because they right from beginning they follow their passion. Uh, and also their ambition comes from some kind of conviction because they truly believe in that. There is no pressure on them. So what I would say that initially what we had in terms of fitting into the script, it's not for them, right? Secondly, they are not running for business ideas as such. Like they are not hunting down the problem to solve and then solve it, right? That was a trend like 5, 10 years back. Now they are so woke, they are so well read, they are so exposed to multiple things, through AI or through ChatGPT or things like that, that they know where their alignment should be in the world, right?
Yeah.
They are very much aligned. So that gives them a tag of being a very passionate young leaders and a thought clarity as well. These days I keep on seeing memes, I keep on seeing things that millennials are like were much better or Gen Zs are slightly casual, but they are not. I've interacted with so many of them. They have the best thought clarity I could have seen, right? And the
Mm.
third most important thing is that they are extremely tech native, that they are so adaptive to the anything which newer comes in terms of tech, that their bar is already set at a standard. Like, for example,
Yes.
a newer, a millennial getting into business would not start from a tech benchmark. They would always grow their business and then they would always put the second priority to tech. But that is not the case with the millennials. Sorry, that is
Yeah.
not the case with the Gen Zs or the younger generation who are getting into business, right? These are the three best things about the younger entrepreneurs, which deeply motivates me and inspires me. And the more I talk to them, the more I get inspired, and the more I understand that there is a lot to learn from them, right? But there is only just one thing which I think I'll have to put it down for them, is that although you are exposed to multiple things, a lot of slogging is also required for any founder to go on
Yeah.
the field, get your hands dirty, build your business from ground up. Most of them, what I've seen is that they are slightly hesitant towards, going on the field and doing it on their own. They
Hmm.
have everything in their brain. They have good ideas. They have good networking skills as well. They will go and talk to people, but most of it is online, right? They will might be slightly reluctant to go on the field to do it. Right, the instincts which we call, right, the right instincts to take decisions on the ground to run your business, or to have a right mindset to take the right judgments whenever required. Those kind of things you only get when you are on the field. That is something which I really think, and I've always been uh, recommending or pushing people or the young people, that you should go on the field first and try it out before
Correct.
worrying about whether it will be success or not. It's okay to fail, that way. So I think on and all the young founders are really inspiring. Recently I went to Chitkara, and you must have seen it in my post as well.
Yeah.
So they had so many questions. There was so much curiosity there, and I was really happy to shape it for them, right? To get all their business ideas to one thing. So that's what I have been doing all across. It's been 2-3 years now. I've been helping the young entrepreneurs to set up their businesses, to make them understand what is right, what is wrong. So, I just want to be a catalyst for them to just get their thoughts right. And that is really, really motivating for me as well. So, yeah. So, that's about the young founders.
Very nice and well said, Swapnil. I just want to add one point there that
Yeah.
Gen Zs, as they are, well exposed to a lot of things today, they can process a lot of things much faster.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
more important that, as you said, they have to go on ground to test it. And unless
Yeah.
they do
Definitely.
that, it becomes very difficult for them to take right decisions, which is very important in today's generation. That too in the current business scenario where things
Yeah.
disrupts this fast. So it's very important that they have to go on ground, and only
Yeah.
then they get that strong feeling of not giving up. So
Yeah.
what we feel is that today there's so many business that we see that today they end up building something big, and suddenly they disrupt, and suddenly they move to the other. They stick on to the decision only when they go
Correct.
on ground, is what I strongly believe, and that's what
Yes.
I echo with you.
Yes.
So wonderful, Swapnil. So just moving on to the next question, just related to this only. If we have to build a strong ecosystem, I think inclusivity becomes extremely important. That way,
Correct.
what according to you are the three most important barriers which you have seen in a women entrepreneurs today? And if they have to build a strong startup, what an industry experts or investors have to do to make it more successful?
Okay. So, talking about women entrepreneurs, so we talked about the young entrepreneurs, right? I think I'll take a slightly different take on this. If I'm being honest, even the question itself is slightly flawed. I'm not blaming you, but it's slightly flawed because every time we ask, how do we empower women-led startups, right? We subconsciously assume women are starting from a deficit, but they are
Yeah,
not. They
they are
they
not.
they are not. That they need extra support, extra push, extra hand holding. It's not needed. They're already there. They're already at par. And that's the real bias, is what I think. We should not talk about, we being empowering anyone, right? Uh, I'm saying not the loud, visible one. So suppose if I talk about myself, so if I interact with many women entrepreneurs, I know for sure that there is no bias, right? For me,
Yeah,
it's a personal take. I know that there is no bias, but you know that in the advertisements also, like 99.9% jumps are killed. There's just 0.1% which is left, and that thought is always there in back of the mind, and that is the conditioning which is there, right? It's not out of habit, or it's just the conditioning of our brains which has operated like that. In that
yeah,
sense, what I think is I can only promise day and day after that I can be better in not having the bias, right? That is the only
right.
promise I can do. I can't commit anything because that's the conditioning. However, what I think is the narrative has to change now. In the
Yes.
sense that we should not talk about empowerment. We should, in fact, talk about enabling. Like, um, how do I put it? Okay, so a very simple example. When in sports, so suppose the women's team has now very recent, we won the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
Now, when we discuss about, say, Smriti Mandhana, who is the opener of Indian women's cricket team, we have always been talking about how many centuries she has scored, right? 14 centuries she has scored, roughly, and maybe 100 plus ODIs she has played. But we would not talk about, how many matches she has not won. But we would always say that, she has scored 14 centuries, and there is a belief that she might overtake Virat Kohli also in near future. So that's a belief which we have, and that is
Hmm.
irrespective of the gender. It's just the sportsman who is out there.
Yeah.
We should follow the same narrative in business as well. Why are we not talking so much about the success stories of women? Not
Correct.
talking about, suppose if we should not talk about an ex women who is successful. We should just name a person who happens to be a woman, right?
Correct.
And hence what I um, how do I put it again? So we should be enabling what is already out there. They're already at par, right?
Right.
They're already at par. We just have to say that, a particular entrepreneur, how do we make it easier for that entrepreneur?
Correct.
Got it, no? So that's the only thing which I have to put it there. Right now, a lot of things are changing. So we
Yes.
should have more people guiding the people who are at the grassroots, not saying the urban population. So I've been part of one of the incubators, Arthayan. They had a session for all the women entrepreneurs, right? So maybe there were around 8 of the women entrepreneurs in that session, and it was only specific to women, and I was taking that session. The 6 of them did not have any, questions as such. But then there were 2 ladies who had questions. They came from the grassroots. Now you have to divide
Nice.
India in two. You cannot talk about women entrepreneurship and talk about it generically. The urban population is very much confident. The women in say cities are more confident to, tackle any bias which comes to them, or they don't talk about it because they know that there is no discussion as such. As I was saying, there is no bias when you think there is a bias, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, but this narrative is different when you go outside, when you go towards the grassroots. Suppose in tier 2, tier 3 towns, or maybe in the very grassroots situation, and we should not exclude them, right? Now they come from a different background. We require handholding for them. And many women entrepreneurs who are already in the urban population area should step up and do this for them, right?
Right.
Apart from men like me who are passionately thinking about doing good in all across India, whether it is male or female, right? You happen to encounter a woman, and then you guide them through, but a lot of effort has to be taken on the grassroots,
Correct.
so that's my take. So it has to be, the narrative has to shift from empowerment to enablement. Like, how do we make it much better for them than what they're already achieving? I think it's
Yeah.
the word is wrong.
I think the parity is definitely when it comes to urban. I think women feel on as par with men,
Yeah.
and therefore the parity doesn't much exist at all. But when we go to the grassroots, yes, that kind of innovation is still there. I think whatever efforts have to be made, that should be at the tier 2, tier 3
Correct.
cities. Then probably, as you said, enabling them makes them more powerful and
Correct.
not discuss about the parity much. Yes, completely agree with
Correct.
you.
Correct.
Right. So just moving on to the third question, the next question, Swapnil, is that, the whole quick commerce thing totally relies on having a huge workforce on ground, right? And just since you're so close to quick commerce industry, just
Yeah.
very curious to understand what are those 2 to 3 non-financial strategies which, keeps these resources very motivated, engaged, or productive. So just trying to understand that part.
Okay. So in a very manpower intensive businesses like ours in quick commerce, for Blinkit say, uh, because we operate at a very high scale, you have so
Yeah.
many people working. around you, working for you. You know, the way we engage with them is to first go to the fundamentals of um, say having a vision around it, right? So I'll simplify it. Uh, if you being the leader wants to direct the entire workforce, be it riders, be it in the in-store staff as well, you need to set one solid goal for all of them, right? A goal is extremely important. Without a strong goal, you can't manage is the wrong word. You cannot direct them. You cannot guide the entire workforce. And me, as being the leader, it is my duty to set that goal for the entire population who is working for me. Not just that, it has to percolate down till your riders, till your last mile is achieved, right? To a sense where the language which the rider would be using, or the in-store staff would be using, or my sales manager would be using, and I thinking in my head should all sync up. Now that's a tough job. That's not the easiest of the things. It's very easy to say, but very difficult to execute. What you, as a leader, should only do is you should formalize a goal. One, you should set a goal. One, second, you should put 100% of your efforts, maximum priority of your entire day should be to just align this one goal to all. And your policies, your communications, your day-to-day cadence, your when you are going on the field talking to people, it should be aligned with that one particular goal. Right. So if you as a leader put a lot of effort in percolating that goal down the line, it percolates down. It's not easy when you see it like that. Now, all your policies, all your engagement activities, all your interactions on the ground, all your managers' interactions on the ground, then becomes easier. So motivation for a ground staff also comes with a goal. So it's a very simple human tendency, right? It's a human trait, if I would put it. We work better, we work harder, or maybe we work smarter when we believe we are contributing to something meaningful. Otherwise, the contribution is missing. Once alignment is strong, your motivation and productivity becomes just a byproduct. Got it? So that alignment is one, the motivation and productivity follows. So if you have to make the entire workforce more engaging, more motivating, and more productive, it starts from the goal, right? So how we do it? So to come to your answer, how do we do it? All our arenas, all our rewards and recognitions, or all our engagement activities, whether it is welfare, to celebrate a festival, or everything, they do that out of an alignment which they have with me as a leader. So if I'm visiting a store for a rewards and recognition, they know what I stand for as a leader. Blinkit is different. Blinkit is very big, right? But what they follow is a leader, right? What they follow is what I believe. And they know when I'm giving someone an award, they know why he has or she has received that award, from whom he has or she has received it from, and what is the thought process behind that leader. If that entire alignment is there, everything falls in place. So the motivation is derived from that. So what I do personally in Punjab, Himachal, or Jammu is wherever I travel, whenever whoever I meet, whichever meeting I sit in, the first 5 minutes, what I do is set the goal right. The rest is followed.
Fantastic. So, what I understand from your conversation is that first, you guys basically create a goal, do the goal setting, consciously align everything, and subconsciously tap into their emotions to
Mm.
bring
Yeah,
in the right thing so that they're always motivated. Because, where people fail is in tapping into the subconscious thing to ensure that they're connected, feel
yeah,
emotionally
correct,
connected. So, what you
correct,
guys are actually doing is trying to make people, be a part of it, contribute,
correct.
make self as a part of the whole, and that kind of self belief and kind of being a part of a whole thing is more important, is what I understand. Wonderful. I think I'm so definitely impressed with the answer, and I never thought in this angle, but really good one. Coming to the last question or the closing one, Swapnil. So, just picking up from your own statement, where you have said, we speak so much about hiring, but less about, why a person actually continues to in an organization. So, that loyalty piece of retention, what according to you makes people stay in an organization? Is it the purpose? Is it the growth? Is it the culture? What makes them to stay? I mean, according to you, from your experience.
See, I understand, I think it was my very recent post which I had put up. And to be very honest, when I had put out that poll on LinkedIn, I wasn't trying to preach anything. In fact, I was genuinely trying to find answers for myself. When I had put out that poll on LinkedIn, I wasn't trying to preach anything, or I wasn't trying to get into that gyan mode. In fact, I was genuinely trying to find the answers for myself.
Mm,
Because this is a very difficult question. Like, why would a person stay with you, or what would be loyal to you, right? It's a very big thing, right? Because we talk endlessly about hiring strategies. We talk about recruitment funnels, we talk about employer branding, but genuinely, people generally don't ask, why would people stay, right? That was the gist. That was the essence of that question in the first place. But what I believe personally is, you spend half of your waking life, if you put it this way, in your job, right? So in that sense, you should be happy about it. That is one. Like when you go home after work, when you go home, reach home, the only thing which you subconsciously or deep down want is happiness. Whether it is just playing with your kid, or being with your loved one, or just going out with your family for dinner, or just hanging out with your friends, right? That is happiness is what we vouch for. And the same feeling is very much there when you come on the job as well.
right.
That is the fundamental instinct of any human, right? So when you are on the job, you should be happy about it. How do we imbibe that, or how does a company track that, or get into the details of it? Because every person is different. The happiness spectrum is also different. What you get happiness from is different. And also, unfortunately, for any employee, there are a lot of uncontrollables which the person works in, right? They can't control their boss. They can't control the project they might get. They can't control the consumer. They can't control their peers. When there are so many uncontrollables, it's very difficult for that person to get motivated out of that job. Correct. Now, in that sense, my first point was, it all comes down to happiness. As a policy or a company, what you, or as an employer or as a boss, what you can do is understand each employee, or maybe ask your manager to track your each employee to understand what is his liking or her liking, right? What is the clarity they want from the job, or what is the projects they want from the job? So to put it this way, there is no right answer. I'm still fetching the right answer. But what I understand from the poll as well, it is more to do with how motivated they feel when it comes to dealing with their boss or dealing with their peers. Right. So the motivation factor comes in, and it is linked to the happiness as well. No, it is that. So I'm still finding the answer. So I don't have a right answer as such. Right. So it is more their potential, their motivation, their inner clarity, or their sense of meaning to the company, right? Their ability
Correct.
to. So the moment they feel that they are contributing in a meaningful way to the company, is, I think, they would feel happy about it. So how do we do it? By telling them that you are contributing in a meaningful way, right? Or
Correct.
the understanding that whatever I've done for the entire day has been contributed well in the company, right? And again, I come back to that same thing. If they believe that there is a goal attached to the company, if there is a vision, right? If there is a good vision, they have already aligned to that vision, and now they know that they have meaningfully contributed to that vision. Is, I think, there is the loyalty which attaches to that. But again, I don't have a right answer. This is just what I feel is my perspective towards it.
What I have a perspective, Swapnil, is that we spend more than 48, 50 hours in our job. Unless we
Correct.
have the sense of belongingness to the organization
Correct.
and to the purpose of the organization, we will not get that motivation to come back the next day to the office, right? So I
Yes.
strongly believe that you will have to root those thoughts in the beginning itself, so that, as you said, set up the goal and ensure that everything is aligned around the goal. By the end of the day, when they go back home, when they relax, they feel that yes, today have contributed much better than yesterday, etc. I think this is definitely because it's not financial. It's
Yes.
basically just trying to tap into their thinking, emotions, etc., and then trying to see to it that there are only those people can remain a little more loyal into the organization. Otherwise, others move out for the other reasons. Wonderful. I think,
I'll give you one example of this
yeah.
also. So very recently, what we believed was there were a lot of, because we were expanding throughout the region. We had so many stores coming up, new stores for Blinkit which were coming. So there is a lot of hiring which happened. So there was a point where more than 70% of our store managers, or the managers who are actually running the store, were new. Like, they were not even 6 months old in the system, right? That's a
Hmm.
fairly you can term them as a new employee for sure, right? In that sense, to get everything right, to just align them to the company vision or the goal, or to keep them motivated becomes tough. The only the what we did rather was we started a competition, right? I can't name the competition, but we started a competition between the folks, like all the store managers between them. And believe me, just to win a medal, and there was a medal at the end of it, right? The top performing stores would get medal or a trophy. Just to get that medal or a trophy, everyone started contributing and the churn fell down drastically. People
Hmm.
started looking at it in a way that they are going to achieve something at the end of the competition, or that we as a team are contributing heavily to the company, where company will be recognizing me at the end of the competition, meant a lot for them. And it did not come as a monetary, so the end goal or the recognition or the award was not monetary at all. It was just a medal. And just for that medal, people just contributed so much, and the churn was drastically down. In fact, we were more than half. It reduced more than half. So yes, they should feel that they are meaningfully contributing to the company, and I think that contributes to their loyalty to the company as well. So I think that is what happened for me.
Fantastic. This is something keeps evolving. The different kind of models and the how to really keep the
Yeah,
resources tied up to the goal and then making them productive is a never-ending topic that way.
correct, correct,
But I think we really had a very illuminating discussion throughout. We started with understanding how young founders can actually bring in or shape up India's future, and moving to understand about the women entrepreneurs, how they can be enabled, and then moving to a thought process where the large workforce, gig workforce, can be aligned to one particular goal, and then tapping into their subconscious to make them emotionally have the sense of belongingness, and then finally trying to understand how we can retain the resource, which is still an unanswered complete question, but still we'll all keep looking out for that answer, and that journey moves on. But yes, thanks so much, Swapnil. I think I completely enjoyed this entire session.
thank
But
you, sir.
yes, thank you so
It
much
was
for the
mutual. It
session.
was mutual. I really enjoyed this session as well.